The evening air hung heavy with damp earth and fallen leaves. Flashlights cut through the darkness as volunteers scoured the wooded park on the outskirts of town, each step measured against the clock. Among them moved one man differently, not faster, not slower, just present, quietly attentive. He lingered at certain spots, returned to areas others had checked, and seemed to know exactly where to look. To most, he appeared concerned, helpful, even heroic. Yet a question began to take root in the minds of few. Why would someone join a search for a person they already knew was gone? Emily Hartman, 24, a beloved elementary school teacher, had vanished the previous evening. Her life had been predictable, safe, and ordinary. She had planned to meet friends for dinner, but never arrived. By Saturday morning, concern escalated. Her roommate noticed her car still parked, her belongings untouched, and called authorities. Friends and neighbors began an informal search, calling her name and checking familiar areas. By the afternoon, a formal search party had been organized. Volunteers coordinated via social media, mapping surrounding streets, alleys, and forested areas. It was here that Michael Carver appeared. In his mid-30s, known casually to Emily through mutual acquaintances, he offered to lead teams, distribute flyers, and map areas to search. At first, he seemed exactly the type of person the community needed. Attentive, present, committed, but beneath the surface, his presence would later reveal a chilling truth. Michael quickly became a fixture in the search. He arrived early, stayed late, and volunteered for the most grueling tasks, wading through creeks, climbing steep embankments, scanning dense underbrush. On paper, it was selfless, yet subtle signs emerged. He lingered near the last known locations of Emily, retracing paths others had moved on from. Observers noted his uncanny anticipation of where Emily might be, calling out spots already checked. Small inconsistencies appeared. He sometimes contradicted himself on where and when he had last seen Emily, or claimed knowledge of her routines that he could not possibly have known. He asked probing questions about her relationships, seemingly casual but unsettlingly precise. As days passed, his involvement shifted from dedication to obsession. Michael appeared at search zones before anyone else, often carrying supplies no one expected. Statements of law enforcement sometimes skirted accuracy, referencing areas Emily had never mentioned. Witnesses saw him in locations he claimed to have visited only recently. Observations of the terrain seemed too precise, too informed. Investigators began reviewing his background, interviewing acquaintances, and reconstructing his movements during the critical hours surrounding Emily's disappearance. The closer he stayed to the search, the more anomalies surfaced. Patterns became difficult to ignore. His proximity to key locations coincided with Emily's likely path on the day she vanished. Volunteers, initially grateful, whispered about his unusual behavior. Lingering glances, insistence on leading teams, and detailed observations that seemed unnecessary. Timeline analysis revealed contradictions. Emily left the bookstore at 6:15 p.m., last texted at 6:23, and by 6:45 was off anyone's radar. Michael claimed street canvassing during that period, but witness reports and phone records contradicted him. Psychological profiling suggested a common pattern. Offenders who commit crimes and then involve themselves in searches often do so to exert control, monitor the investigation, and manage guilt. Every clue Michael discovered mirrored this behavior. His proximity to the search was deliberate, not accidental, and investigators began connecting the threads. The breakthrough came unexpectedly. Surveillance footage and volunteer phone records revealed his presence in locations contradicting his statements. Small pieces of evidence, discarded items, footprints, were linked directly to him. Every time he had helped locate clues, he had staged knowledge to appear helpful. Volunteers confirmed subtle patterns, guiding teams to irrelevant areas, diverting attention from critical zones, and insisting on personal oversight. Michael's presence in the search was performative and self-serving. Evidence converged. Traces of Emily's personal effects were found near an abandoned shed he had repeatedly inspected. DNA and fingerprints tied him to the crime. The man who seemed most concerned and helpful was the one investigators had been searching for. The arrest was swift but quiet. Michael Carver was taken into custody in the early hours of a rainy morning. The community struggled to reconcile the image of a man who led searches and comforted a grieving family with the reality of his guilt. Volunteers expressed disbelief and betrayal. Detectives reflected on the case as a stark example of human deception. His involvement in the search had accelerated his exposure, providing the threads that unraveled his lies. Emily's family, though devastated, expressed gratitude that the truth was uncovered. In the end, the case revealed a chilling paradox. The closer someone gets to the truth, the more their own actions can betray them. He joined the search to stay close to the truth, but in the end, it's what revealed him.